see. Okay, thank you. Thank you all for coming. We're going to talk about pre-editing, pre-planning your editing today. So first, let me just say this is YouTube Bootcamp, and YouTube Bootcamp is for small business professionals, creatives, entrepreneurs, people who need YouTube, right? To promote, brand, and strategize your business. I'm your host, Sheri Barbera, and if you don't know me, I'm a Google certified YouTube channel growth expert. What is the best way to edit? What do you think the number one way is to edit? Tell me in the chat. Let me know what you think is the best way to edit. Is to have a plan. Awesome, awesome. Well, you know what? Let's just start with that because that's perfect. Edit before you film. And that is to have a plan, right? So let's keep going. You got it. Plan. So what do you need to plan? Well, you either need, first, of course, you need your topic. You need your topics. Then you need to either script it completely if you're going to pre-film, or you need to do bullet points if you're going to talk off the cuff, but you want to stay on point, or you can even storyboard the whole thing and figure out all your shots ahead of time. So let's talk about scripting. The first thing you want to do is, if you're going to write a script, is write your script out, and you can pre-write a ton of scripts. Let's say you pre-plan 5 videos at once, which is awesome. You always want to do that if you can and film them all at the same time. So pre-plan, let's say 5 scripts. And then if you're going to be reading a script, I suggest very strongly, and I've told you guys this before, the number one way to do that is to use a teleprompter. And I recommend BigView, and that's B-I-G-V-U, BigView, for their incredible teleprompter. That's BigView. You want to film at the same time, one after another, at least 3 videos. This way you can start to pre-post, pre-schedule videos so that you're not always running on that treadmill trying to get videos up on your YouTube channel, right? So let's say that you have pre-written out 3 scripts. We'll just start with 3 scripts. What you can do is you can go onto BigView on your computer, on your desktop computer. You can upload all 3 scripts, and then you send them to the app on your phone, on your mobile, right? So this is an amazing thing with BigView. It syncs really seamlessly with desktop, with laptop, with cell phone, with iPad or tablet. It's really amazingly simple to use. So then one of the cool things about BigView is that when the script starts coming up, literally it's on the side of your screen, and it's on the side of the screen where your camera is generally. Like right now on my laptop, my camera, I can show you, sorry, my camera is right on the top of my laptop. But if I'm filming on my phone or my tablet, which I've done, it's on the side, which is really awesome. So when that happens, get off. So when that happens, the words literally scroll up in front of my eyes. Now, if that is not going to be what happens with you, you want to put a Post-it right next to where the camera is, because you don't want to be looking at yourself. See, right now I'm looking at me, and if I'm looking at me, I'm not looking at you. And once your video posts, that's really annoying. Okay, so don't do that. All right. What you do is you put a Post-it, just a little tiny piece of a Post-it right next to the camera lens. Before you film, what should you do? Lots of things. There's a lot of things that you should do. You should check your hair. Like right before I came on, my hair, this one was sticking straight up, right? So you should check your hair. You should check your teeth. Like, did you eat something and you've got salad all over your teeth? Check your clothes. Do you have spots, or is there something stuck on it? Check your makeup. Did something run or whatever? Check your lighting. Is your lighting good? Check your background. Does your background look simple and clean? Is it easy or is it distracting? Check all these things. Okay, make a test video. So don't think that you should just immediately film and that's it and you're done. No, what you should do is you should make a test video. Why? Well, you should make a test video to check things. You want to check your lights, right? You want to listen to your sound. You want to look at your background. Does your background look good? This is after you've filmed everything. So what does it actually look like? How do you look better? So if you look at this, you can see this is not so good, is it? The lighting is not terrific on that one or this one, but this one in red really pops. So, and this one a little bit overlit. So you want to think about, how does it look? How is my lighting? How is my hair? What looks better? What should I do? Plan. So you always want to have a plan. But the other thing is, once you make your test video, then you start filming. And let's say that in the middle of filming, what happens is your teleprompter is running too fast and you're like talking over your words and you totally mess up. It's no problem. Just film it again, okay? No problem. So just film it again, just film it again, just film it again. So here's the thing about scripting, is that it doesn't matter if you've got the whole thing scripted out and then you go to film it and you don't like what you have written. You can still go off the cuff if you want to, but if you're using a teleprompter, that teleprompter is just going to keep scrolling up. So what do? Well, you can film multiple videos and you can cut them in together. Do I recommend this? I do not recommend this. But what happens if you go off the cuff and you've got something really awesome? Keep it, okay? So keep it, but just be sure to try to only keep the best video. All right, let's keep going. Let's say that you're going to go totally off the cuff, basically, but you just want to bullet point what your topic's about. So the best way to do that is to start with your most important thing first. That's your first bullet point. And then that's like basically, what is your topic going to be about for this video? So that's the first thing. And then break it down into what that topic is going to be throughout the whole video. And that way your bullet points will help you to be very clear and stay on point with what it is that you're trying to say and what you want to achieve. If it's necessary, it's super cool to stop and start again. So let's say that you get halfway through your bullet points and you're just like, oh my God, I can't even remember what I was going to say. Stop the video. That's no problem. So now you've got points 1, 2, and 3, and maybe points 4, 5, and 6 are another video. That's fine. Just go ahead and do it. Don't think that it's got to be all at once. You don't have to film everything all at once. You can film things in parts. And actually, if you film like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes at a time, it's easier to send that to your computer for editing anyway. So you can think of things in little chunks, that's no problem. But at the same time, if you're on a roll and you're really, really into what you're saying and you've got all your bullet points down and you can do the whole thing at once, perfect, do it. Let's say you keep refilming and you keep refilming and you keep refilming. And this happens. And you know, this happens to Sal and this happens to me when we're filming some of our videos. And what do? Do we keep them all? We do not. We do not keep them all. Generally what happens is by the time we've filmed maybe the same thing 3 times, the 4th one is awesome and we keep the 4th one. But sometimes maybe 1 or 2 or the 3rd one have some like really funny blooper on it. I would keep that as well because it's fun to have outtakes and it's fun to have bloopers. All right. If you decide to storyboard, what is a storyboard? Well, think Disney. Everybody knows what a storyboard is from Disney, right? So a storyboard is when you lay out your entire video in pre-planned little boxes. And in those little boxes, you can literally put every single one of your bullet points. You can put, you know, start with your main topic. You could even, if you've written a script, you can even include the script in you know, laid out in the boxes. But what's really cool is you don't have to be an artist to do this. Just draw little boxes. That's perfectly fine. And this way you can say, oh, I want a close up here, or, oh, I really don't want a close up. I want a mid shot, or, you know, I really want like a long shot. So this is where you can truly pre-plan what you want to do visually, which is awesome. So think about doing these things that help you make your videos even better. You And the cool thing about storyboarding is that, so you lay out your entire video on your storyboard and your script and everything. And then you look at it and all of a sudden you see, oh, I should have had this point up here, or I should have made this point in the middle, or gee, that's redundant, or I forgot this, or X, Y, and Z. So that is the awesome thing about storyboarding, is that it allows you to see your video clearly before you even film it and make it better than it would have been. Sal has his hand up. Okay, what, honey?
Tom says.
Hey, Tom.
Tom says that there are some storyboard programs out there, but he hasn't delved into them yet.
Oh, there are very good, thank you, Tom. There are very good storyboard programs out there. There's good online stuff for storyboards. And if anybody emails that to me, email it to support@youtubebootcamp.com, and I will post it underneath this video. The other thing that you can do is you can draw out a bunch of boxes and then just make copies of that and then just fill them in. So it makes it super simple. One of the great things about pre-planning a storyboard is that it allows you to convey what it is you want to get across even better than if you just sat down and did your script, because again, it's visual. So this shows you what you can do, details of your shots. What do I mean by that? I mean, what is the type of shot that you're going to use? Is it going to be a close-up? Is it going to be a mid shot? Is it going to be a long shot? Which you can't see a long shot, sorry. But, is it going to be a landscape? Is it going to be portrait? What is it going to be? And then placement. Where are you going to be? You're going to be inside? You're going to be outside? Is it day? Is it night? Are you going to be in your studio? Are you going to be filming? Where are you going to be? So this helps you to figure out what the whole video should really look like. It's all of your important information. Like I said before, and storyboarding is absolutely essential for animation, because animation literally is just a storyboard anyway. So this is why on animation, you storyboard the entire film, and then this is what you do before you make the animation, because it's so expensive to make the animation that you don't want to waste time, right? You don't want to waste time on animating something, but why would you want to waste time when you're filming, right? You don't want to waste time either. So that's the other amazing thing about storyboarding, is that it keeps you on point. It makes your focus better. It makes your story better. It makes your topic better. It makes everything better, especially because when you're editing, now you can just sit and look at your storyboard and say, okay, this should be a close-up. This should be a mid shot. This should be B-roll. I should have text here. You can put all of that stuff right on your storyboard. So think about all of these things when you're thinking about doing this. All right, so you guys, if you have questions about it, hey, someone gave me a like. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Better than me. No.
So I don't know if I just went backwards. No, I did not. Okay. When you are planning, the other thing that you want to plan is, are you going to be filming like this? Or are you going to be filming so that it looks like you're having a conversation with someone? Or are you going to be filming from the top down for some of this, which is really cool? Like, okay, Trekking Pals, really cool shot for you guys would be for one of you to be up on top of your mountain and the other one to be filming down, which I'm sure you've done this already. The other to be filming down at the other person coming up. So you're just getting a completely different perspective, a different angle, a different view. It just makes your video so much more interesting. And you definitely, thanks for the other like, you definitely want to be as interesting and engaging as possible.
What a surprise, Trekking Pals likes that idea.
Thank you. Okay. So you want to plan for a variety of shots. And Sal doesn't know it, but I used him.
What the heck?
I used him as my sample here. So, okay. There are different kinds of shots. There are extreme shots, then there are regular shots, then there are long shots, wide shots, close-ups. There's all different kinds of shots. So you want to think about, what kind of shot do I want to use? And this is the kind of thing that you can put on your storyboard. Now, With that said, let's just say that you're not the kind of person that wants to storyboard, but you did write a script. For editing, it's a great idea in your script for you to put little lines coming out of your script and say, oh, this would be a great close-up. This would be a great long shot. This would be a great place to put B-roll. This would be a good title, right? This way you are making it so much easier for yourself when you start editing. Okay. So I think what I'm trying to say here is that there are different ways to bring the viewer in with you. So if I want to be really like, oh my God, guys, you know, I come in really close. If I want to talk about all this kind of stuff, then I move out. If I want to just like really focus on this, I can move even further out so that you take a look at that more. So see how I'm giving myself space to move around. So what is a long shot? I'm teaching you terminology now. So this is video terminology. Let's talk about this. Because when you're writing things down for yourself, you want to make it as simple as you possibly can. So once you start learning the video terminology, the editing terminology, the filming terminology, it's going to make it so much easier for you to actually write your scripts, do your storyboards and everything, because a long shot becomes an LS. That's how simple it is. Long shot, LS. Medium shot, MS. Close up, CU for a close-up. An extreme close-up, ECU. Extreme, I'm not going to do it, but an extreme, here, that's an extreme close-up. Okay, so questions on, were there any questions before that I missed? Okay, any questions on shot sizes? And again, I know I've got 5 minutes or 5 seconds, so I'll just keep going. Okay, framing. We have talked about rule of thirds, and rule of thirds is hugely important. I am not doing rule of thirds right now. Pretty much I have my screen split in half, but to be the most visually appealing, you want to try to do rule of thirds. This is what rule of thirds looks like. So you want to break your frame, your video frame, which is what this is right now. Okay, this whole thing is a frame. You want to break that into thirds. And you can even go further and break it into thirds vertically besides horizontally. And that will give you additional blocks to frame things in. And we went through this, I don't know if you guys remember, but we went through this in Instagram, because this is a really awesome way to set up your Instagram feed, is to think of it like a grid in a rule of thirds, because Instagram posts in threes, right? And you do a complete story in nines. So I'm getting off the track, but think about this. When you're doing rule of thirds for your videos, it's still a fantastic way for you to keep everything pleasingly balanced. So you don't want to do this. See how much space is on top? That is not appealing. That makes people like cringe, okay? So don't do that. Think about framing something in rule of thirds so that it's balanced and it's pleasing and it's not awkward. So what do you want to consider? Well, you want to consider your headroom, right? This is your headroom, okay? Want to consider your looking room. This is your looking room, right? From me to the end of the frame, that's your looking room. And then the last thing is you want to consider your walking space. So look, this is my walking space. I can come all the way back here, and as I come closer to the frame, you can see that I'm doing a close-up, an extreme close-up. Here's a close-up, here's a mid-shot, right? And now as I move back, if I could, I would do a long shot, but I can't do a long shot because I'm too far away from the camera. Okay, so framing, most of your shots are going to be medium close-up, okay? So most of them are mid shots. So this is pretty much a mid shot. That's what most of your shots are gonna be, head to shoulders. You wanna use the rule of thirds when you're framing yourself in your pre-recorded videos particularly. Like right now, I am not worrying about whether I'm in rule of thirds or not. And that's because I'm doing it live. But if I was pre-filming this and I wasn't doing it live, this is certainly something that I would be very aware of. Headroom. How much space do you have between you and the top of the frame? See, like that's very uncomfortable. And that's really uncomfortable too. It looks ridiculous, right? So you want to think about what is your headroom? What's too much? Pretty easy. What's too little? Pretty easy, right? Any questions about headroom? Any questions about anything that I've missed so far? No. Okay. So looking room, that's the other thing that you want to think about when you're framing yourself to do your videos. Like pretty much right now, I'm about rule of thirds, right? So this whole side of my screen is about 2/3 and where I'm standing is about 1/3. So what is my looking space? My looking space is from here to the end of the frame. It's pretty good, right? So behind me, there's space. In front of me, there's space. But if I was all the way back here, my looking room would stink, right? That would stink. First of all, because you couldn't see me. Second of all, because it's really awkward and uncomfortable. And third of all, because it feels totally unbalanced. So you definitely want to have more room in front of you. That's the most important thing, is that it doesn't feel like you're like totally squished in, okay? You don't want to be squished. It's the left edge of the frame that you want to think about. And there should be more room in front of you than behind you. Any questions about looking room? Any questions? Okay, we're going to keep going. What is your walking space? Well, think of your walking space exactly the same way you think of your looking space, because it is the same kind of thing. You don't want to feel like you're totally confined in a space, unless you want to feel like you're totally confined in a space. That's a completely different thing. But if you are making a video, basically you want to have good space between you and the camera, between you and the side of the frame, between you and the top of the frame, and you and the bottom of the frame, okay? You want to make sure that all of that feels really comfortable. Too close does not feel comfortable. It's one thing to be walking across, okay? So if I was just walking across like this, fine, I'm just walking across. But if I wasn't, and I just stopped here and I was like talking to you guys from here, horrible, right? That's horrible. So when you're walking, keep in mind that you need enough space around you to move. You don't want to be smashing into walls or knocking into doors or hitting stuff over. You need enough space to move. Okay, any questions about walking room? No, okay. Variation in shots. So you want to think about variation in shots, not just to vary, like, am I facing this way or am I facing this way or am I looking down or up, but also what else can you do? I mean, think about taking a selfie stick and shooting yourself from the top down, right? So now you're looking up at the camera. That's a whole different way of filming. Or think about being as low to the ground as you possibly can be and shooting from a dog's eye view, like, or a bird's eye view looking down, or a dog's eye view looking up. So think about different ways that you can make it exciting visually for the people that are watching your videos. One of the ways to do that is an over-the-shoulder shot. And of course, you have to have somebody else, or you have to set up your camera on a tripod that doesn't show to film over your shoulder. But that is a great way to also make your videos more interesting. So if you do set your camera up on a tripod and you film, then you can start by walking behind the camera and walk in front of the camera, keep going, and it will be behind you. So the camera will be looking over your shoulder, it'll be looking at your back, and you can walk towards whatever it is that you're filming. And then you could stop and start again and do a completely new shot. So think about all of these cool ways of making your videos so much more engaging and interesting. Here's another one. He's very close up to the frame, but behind him, the perspective is very deep. And that's another thing that you can think about. What does your perspective look like? And if you want what I consider the most genius film on perspective ever created in the world, look at Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs, and that's I-S-L-E, Isle of Dogs. And if you say it real fast, it's I love dogs, right? So cool. But if you watch this animated film, which is brilliant, the way he uses perspective is like nothing I've ever seen, and colors and everything about it is just, I think, perfection. If you are doing interviews, and I think a lot of you do intend to do some kind of an interview, you really want to think about framing, because right now, yeah, we're all on Zoom, right? Or we're all in front of our computer. And so this isn't as relevant, because to do an interview, we're just going to be sitting and looking at the camera, and that's all it's going to be. But this is going to go away, and life is going to go back, and you are going to be doing interviews of people live or taped or whatever it is that you're going to be doing, but you are going to be sitting with a real person doing an interview. So when you're doing that, there are so many things that you want to think about to make it look good, and framing is really important. Where should you be placed, and where should they be placed? So if you're thinking about like, oh, I can't do that. Okay, so if I was the interviewer and Sal was over there, but he was facing me, right? That would be kind of interesting. So he would be looking straight at the camera, and I would be at an angle looking at him, and that would be pretty nice placement. What about framing? So again, you want to think about rule of thirds. So there's a third, there's a third, there's a third. That looks pretty good. So he would probably be here in the farthest third, and the middle would be whatever the background is, and then I, the interviewer, would be in the other third. What is the backdrop? What do you think the backdrop should be? If it's a work-related video, the best kind of backdrop would be the work backdrop, right? What if you can't do a work backdrop? Can you do a green screen and pop in a work backdrop? So think about these different ways of filming. Option number two, maybe your backdrop is totally topic related. So let's say your topic is all about swimming pools, right? This isn't the business that either one of you are in, but you're going to talk about swimming and you're going to talk about pools. So when you set up the person that you're interviewing, you want to think about your background. Keep it simple. I hate to use the word stupid. I can't remember what I say instead of that, but keep it simple. You always want to think about rule of thirds, and you want to keep your background as simple as possible. Yes, Sal is raising his hand.
I missed two comments.
Oh, okay. Comments.
One, Tom Levine said that eyeline thing, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
That's true, Tom. Once you see the eyeline thing, you can't unsee it. That's true.
And the most important, Tretchen Pal said, looking good, Sal.
Sal does look good. You're right. Thank you for saying that. If your background is super cluttered, that is just going to distract the viewer, and they're going to have a hard time focusing on you and your interview. So what you want to do is you want to look at your background and you want to declutter it, simplify to the point where you just have a few things that are super important to you, like what Sam did. If any of you saw Sam's awesome mastermind recently about his new YouTube studio, and this is Sam Santiago from AZ Living, and that's AZ Living on YouTube. Go and look at his video on setting up a YouTube studio, because his newest video on that, or you can look at it, you can look at his mastermind on YouTube Bootcamp, is all about what he did with his background. And it's really cool because what Sam did was he brought in things that meant something to him. So his background is little objects and things that are all about what is Sam, and that's super awesome. So that's a different way to think about doing a background. Questions on location. So when I say you want to be very aware of what the location is for the interview, because it's going to convey something to your viewer, and it's going to set the mood. It's going to set the tone of what that video is going to be about. So if the video is work related, let's say you're interviewing a filmmaker, what should be behind them? Well, there are awards, right? Things, maybe movie posters, things that have to do with them being a filmmaker. Maybe they're a scientist. So maybe the background is going to be a laboratory, or maybe it's awards that they've won, or something that has to do with them being a scientist. Or if they're an artist, then the background would be all about them being an artist. It could be literally in their studio, or it could be a screenshot, or it could be their paintings, or something that has to do with them being an artist. Okay, so when you're interviewing someone, the last thing you want to do is be a profile. And the reason for that is because we like to look at eyes, all of us. We always want to look at someone's eyes. And the reason we do that is because your eyes convey so much. So you don't want to be a profile, because how do we know what you're thinking? We can't see it. We can't watch your face if you're just a profile. So don't be a profile. This is the one thing you definitely don't want to do when you're interviewing, is be a profile. What you do want to do is what we have here, which is try to frame your subject so that it's a 3/4 view. See how I just turned, but you can still see both of my eyes? This is what you want to do. You want to be able to see the person's eyes. So the most common shot for an interview is this. This is the most common shot for an interview, but see, I need to, the computer needs to sit lower so that I can fill the frame better, so that you could see a medium close-up. And you want to reveal some of the surroundings. You don't want it to be uncomfortably close. Like, I see so many YouTubers who are sitting like this, you know, and they're like right in your face. I find that so uncomfortable. It really, really bothers me. Now, maybe some people have gotten used to that and it doesn't bother them at all, but I find that horribly unappealing. And filmmakers don't do that unless there is a reason for that kind of extreme close-up. But if you're just sitting at your desk and you're talking into your computer and you're teaching or you're explaining or whatever it is that you're doing, there's absolutely no reason for an extreme close-up like that. Just don't do it. Okay, questions on framing? If you have them, just leave them in the comments below. So, Sheila, oh my God. Hi, Sheila. How are you?
My studio layout has a window with a shade as a background.
Okay.
While I work on my table.
Okay.
How can I make it work? I have an overhead camera for my work and another facing me.
Okay, so if you're in a studio and you have a window, now I do have a window. It's right off to my left, which is your right. And when I'm filming me sitting at my computer, I have the window open and I let that natural light come in on me, but I always pretty much film at the exact same time of the day so that I have the same light, like even light, so that I know it's always going to be the same. While I work at my table, how can I make it work? So if you are backlit from a window, what happens to you? You become a silhouette, right? You become a black silhouette in front. So what is the ideal thing to do? Put a light on you. Put a light directly in front of you, okay? So it's fine to have backlighting. It's actually great to have backlighting, but you do absolutely must have to put a light on the front of you. So pre-editing, plan. That's the number one thing. And that's the first thing that either Alex or Habiba said from Trekking Pals right at the beginning, and that's absolutely 100% right. Plan, 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 everything. Plan your lighting, plan your script, plan for your sound if you need your mics, plan for batteries, right? If you go on location, do you have enough batteries? Plan everything you can possibly think of. If you're gonna film 3 videos, plan a change of clothes or plan a change of earrings or plan a change, if you're a guy, or if you're a guy. Okay, but so plan that you're gonna change things. And Sal said, bring food, because he does think about food a lot, right? edit while filming. This is huge, guys, because this will save you a ton of time editing. So if you are editing as you are filming, now you're not editing again when you take all that footage and you bring it into your editing software, right? So you've pre-edited. This is the fantastic way to do this. Pre-plan your shots and angles, pre-plan whether it's going to be indoor or outdoor, retake, and cut out the crap. Because we all have it. We all have stuff where we're like, we're talking and we forgot that we were talking like this, and we're boring as could be, you know, and we need to bring that energy level up. So cut that, just dump it and just start all over again and bring your energy level up and be the best you and make it dynamite and do something great. Okay, any questions on that? How do you edit while filming? How do you edit while filming? Okay, so the answer to how do you edit while filming, there's a bunch of things that you can do. So while you're filming, the first thing you can do is you can delete the crappy films that you made, right? So let's say that you were filming a specific shot and something happened and you know it stinks, all right? But now you've already filmed it, dump that. Don't just keep it. Don't just keep multiple videos because you made them, dump them, okay? Only keep the videos that are the best video and the ones with the best bloopers, and that's it. Don't keep the rest of them. You don't need them. That's number one. Number two, edit by pre-scripting, okay? Script it or do your bullet points or do your storyboard. This is pre-editing. So this takes away a whole ton of editing time in front of your computer or on your phone, right? So no matter where you're editing, this will save you a lot of time. What about transitions? What about cuts? What do you do for things like that? Well, let's say that you're outside and you're filming outside and you want to edit while you're filming outside, okay? So you want to do a transition right there while you're filming. Well, how do you do that? Well, one of the ways to do that is simply this, right? You do a swipe. It's called a swipe right in front of your camera lens, and you end up, so you swipe out and you end up in your next place, right? So you end up in, you start at one point and you end up in the next point. That's one way to edit without doing a cut or a transition in your editing software program. Another thing that you can do is you can finish that scene, whatever that scene is, as part of your video by disappearing, right? And then coming back in the exact same place, but in a different place. So that's another way that you can do it. You can do it by like moving super fast. So you move super fast in or out of the screen. And then in your next shot, you move into the scene from the same side, right? So you're leaving and you're entering from the same side. And that's another way to pre-edit your shots. Another thing that you can do to pre-edit is you can do call outs to yourself in your filming, right? So let's say that on your storyboard, you've already said, well, this is where I want an extreme close-up. If you've already done that, you can already do your extreme close-up, right? You can do your close-up and then move back, and now you don't have to do it in editing, you've already done it. So you are using your camera smartly, you're using your filming smartly, instead of sitting and spending a lot more time at your computer and doing all that stuff that's gonna take you another hour or two. So those are some of the ways that you can pre-edit your film. Any other questions? Any more? Yes. Sal is raising his hand, yes.
Lindsay is asking.
Hi, Lindsay.
I'm a newbie just starting. Which editing program should I use for my PC? I'm so excited about Big View and Telepromptor. Thank you so much for that.
You are welcome. And you know what? You can edit right in Big View. That's the other thing about Big View that is absolutely awesome. Not only can you film yourself, not only can you pre-script and use a teleprompter, but you can edit right in Big View. And the thing about Big View is that it is free. So that's amazing about it. It's bigview.com, VU.com. And it is free, but there will be a little at the bottom of your screen. I'm trying to show it. At the bottom of your screen will be the Big View logo. but who cares, right? So that doesn't matter. So, but if you upgrade and pay for it, then you do get more features and more things that you can do. I think green screen is one of them, things like that, but you can edit in big view. The other thing for PCs that you can use, I think Shotcut is one of them. There's a bunch of good software programs. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, sign up for the newsletter, which will be coming up next. Sign up for the newsletter. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, that is the link to the newsletter right there. Sign up for the newsletter, and in the newsletter, I give links to a lot of really great stuff, a lot of resources. So let's go back. Okay.
Tracking Panel says Adobe Premiere works great, fine for PC.
Okay,
And
Adobe
also check
Premiere.
Filmora, for PC.
Adobe Premiere for PC or Filmora Go or Wondershare, Filmora, that's the same thing, works for PC as well. Keep in mind a couple of things about editing. Number one, let's say you absolutely love editing and you plan on editing all of your videos. I strongly, strongly recommend thinking about two things. If you're a Mac user, using iMovie and then upgrading to Final Cut Pro. If you're a PC user, using maybe Adobe Premiere and then upgrading to Premiere Pro. And the reason I say this is because if you do intend to edit your own videos, why would you learn a program that you're not going to do all your editing on? I mean, these are like the master programs that everybody uses. The biggest YouTubers use them, and even movie people use them.
Rich,
What was the question?
Rich had a suggestion. I like
Yes.
Power Director 365.
So Rich says Power Director
It also gives you
365.
a Storyboard app.
Awesome. So it gives you a storyboard app in the software. Thanks, Rich. That's a great
Great.
suggestion.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. For those of you who have not signed up for my masterclass covers editing along with filming, along with how to get your channel up, along with marketing and making money and all that kind of stuff. So sign up for the masterclass. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube Bootcamp channel, subscribe. So subscribe and hit that little bell so that you get notified every time we post a video. What else? Sign up for the newsletters if you want to learn more about YouTube. And that is it. This is YouTube Bootcamp, and I am Sheri Barbera, and we are going to take a group shot. Where's my mom?
I don't know.
We're going to take a group shot.
Hi to your mom.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so
Ready?
group shot.
Group shot. What are we doing? We got to do a thing.
Yay. We miss you guys. Thanks for coming.
Bye. See you later. What is it? The dating game again? Okay.
See you guys later. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate all of you. Take care, guys.